Hi everyone, this is Niyati from Team Backinzo. A new update has been rolled out for Backinzo and it's packed with powerful features, especially for those using positional portfolios. So in this video, I'll explain what's new and how it changes the way positional backtesting works, all in simple words. Earlier, Backinzo used to follow a simple rule. It would look at the minimum expiry of the legs of the portfolio and based on that, it would square off entire portfolio. Now let me explain with an example using an Excel sheet. So this was the old positional setup wherein you have created a positional portfolio that you want to run from the 1st January 2025 to 31st January 2025. You have added cell CE with a weekly expiry leg and cell PE with the monthly expiry leg. Now, in the old system of Backinzo would check the expiry of both the legs, find the shortest one, which is weekly in this particular case, and square off whole portfolio based on that. So even though you wanted to run it till 31st January 2025, it might close little much earlier just because one leg had weekly expiry, right? So this was the old positional setup of Backinzo. What's new now? In the latest update, Backinzo is more smarter. It doesn't blindly follow the shortest expiry logic anymore. Now, Backinzo checks 4 things to decide how your backtest will run. So, which are those 4 parameters? First is a start day. When you want your strategy to begin, how many days before expiry? So herein I have taken a snapshot image of a Backinzo interface wherein a start date mentioned here is 28 days before expiry. And then comes second parameter is end day or the square off day when you want your strategy to end. So I want it to end on the expiry day itself. That's why I have mentioned here 0 days, right? Now the third parameter is expiry of the first leg. This is super important, very crucial. Backinzo now considers the expiry type of your first leg. Herein the first leg is weekly, right? So it will decide how to handle portfolios rollover. So here, because I have mentioned weekly, so it will handle portfolios rollover on the basis of weekly expiries. Okay. Now the fourth parameter is the test start date, when you want your backtest to start from. So this is the date from which you are starting the backtest, right? So when you choose the test mode as a backtest, so this from date becomes your test start date. Okay. So based on these 4 parameters, that is the start day, end day, and expiry of the first leg, Backinzo will calculate the actual start date of your portfolio. Okay. How? I'll just quickly showcase it to you. Let's take an example wherein you have taken leg 1 as a sell call, which is weekly expiry, and leg 2 as sell put weekly expiry, right? Start day you have mentioned here as 28, right? And backtest start date is 1st January 2025. Now here, what happens behind the scenes? I'll just quickly showcase it to you in 3 simple, easy steps. What Backinzo will do behind the scenes, okay? That I just want to showcase it to you. So step 1 is it will add start date to the backtest start date. So Backinzo takes your test start day, which is 1st January, and adds the start day, which is 28. So 1st plus 28 is equals to 29th January. So it gets 29 January 2025. Now comes step 2. Herein, it will find next expiry thereafter. So in this particular step, Backinzo will try to locate or it will look for the next expiry on or after 29th January. Okay. So herein I have taken a calendar snapshot image of January 2025. This is 29th, right? Where it got calculated at 29 January 2025. So thereafter, Backinzo will locate another expiry, which comes out to be 30th, right? For the Nifty instrument, it is 30th. Thursday is the expiry day, right? So 30th Jan 2025, it will locate in the second step. So this becomes your portfolio expiry date. So 30 is now your portfolio expiry date. Now comes step 3. It will calculate the actual start date. Now it subtracts start day, which is 28, from the expiry date, which is 30th Jan, using this simple formula. start date of the portfolio is equals to portfolio expiry date, which is 30th Jan, minus actual start time, which is 28 days, which you have mentioned here. So 30th Jan minus 28 days is equals to 2nd January 2025. So even though you selected 1st January as your test start day, but your strategy will actually start from 2nd January because of how Backinzo calculates positional setups this way. Okay, so based on these 4 parameters, that is a start day, end day, expiry of the first leg and test start day, it has calculated your actual start date of the portfolio, which is 2nd January 2025 in this particular case. Okay. Now coming to the positional leg rollover feature of Backinzo. Now with the leg rollover feature of Backinzo, handles positional portfolios very smartly. What does leg rollover mean? So let's say one of your option leg is expiring in the middle of your test based on your stop loss or on the target hit. Okay. Now instead of just squaring it off and stopping them, you can tell Backinzo what to do next. You get 3 options. First is none. Just square off current expiry and do not add any new leg onto the backtest result. Okay, so as you can see here that I have taken a snapshot image of a none leg rollover setting wherein leg 1 and leg 2 got exited on 2nd January 3:25 p.m. and it just squared off for the current expiry, and Backinzo has not added any new legs onto the backtest result, right? Why it started on 2nd January and why it ended on 2nd January? Let me explain you the logic here. See, Backinzo calculated based on this simple formula, it has calculated the start date of the portfolio, which came out to be 2nd January, right? And on 2nd January was the Thursday. So it started on 2nd January and it ended on 2nd January because the expiry was on that day. So that's the reason 2nd January is the start and end is also on the 2nd. Okay, so leg 1 and leg 2 exited on the 2nd January based on this none as leg rollover setting. Now comes same strike leg rollover, wherein you are commanding Backinzo to exit the current leg expiry and re-enter the same strike from the next expiry. Okay, so just scroll it down and here I have taken a snapshot image of a same strike wherein leg 1 and leg 2 are the current expiry legs, main legs of the portfolios, right? It started on 2nd January and it ended on 2nd January 3:25 p.m., which was my end time, right? Now, leg 3 is the exact replica of leg 1 and leg 4 is the exact replica of leg 2, and so these legs are. These are the leg rollovers, that is leg 3 till leg 10. These are the leg rollovers, okay? So, leg 3 is the exact copy or exact replica of leg 1 wherein the strike is also same because I have chosen same strike as my leg rollover setting wherein leg is rolled over with the same strike but from the next expiry. So, leg 1 and leg 2 were the main legs of the 2nd January expiry, but leg 3 of the different expiry, 9 January, 9 January. Leg 3 and leg 4 for the 9th January. But with the same strike, 23,800 CE, 23,800 CE. 23,800 PE for the leg 4 and 23,800 PE for the leg 2, right? Now, if you see here, leg 5 and leg 6, right? 23,800 CE, but now from the 16th January, 9th January has been rolled over to 16th January and 16th January has been rolled over to 23rd January and so on, 30th January, right? So this is how leg rollover works for the same strike, wherein the leg is rolled over with the same strike but from the different expiries, right? Now let us talk about another case of the leg rollover, and that is revalidate. So in this particular case, you command Backinzo to exit the current expiry and reselect a new strike using your original selection logic or a criteria. For example, you have created a portfolio wherein leg 1 is on the basis of nearest premium 100 and leg 2 is on the basis of nearest premium 115. So that becomes your original selection logic or a criteria. So these leg 1 and leg 2 are the main legs of the portfolio wherein it has entered on the basis of your original selection criteria, nearest premium 100 and nearest premium 105, right? So leg 3 is derived from leg 1 and leg 4 is derived from leg 2. So leg 3 will keep the original selection criteria logic intact, and leg 4 will keep the original selection criteria intact of leg 2, right? So these are the leg rollovers right from leg 3 to leg 10 based on the revalidate leg rollover setting. Now you can also set how many times or how many minutes before expiry the leg should be square off. So by default it is 5 minutes, as you can see here. Means it will exit at 3:25 p.m. on the expiry day. But if you want to exit a day before, just type 14:45 minute, which is 24 hours minus 5 minutes, which comes out to be 14:45. So if you want to square it off, or if you want to exit a day before, then you have to enter here as 14:45. Okay. Now that you have fully grasped the concept of portfolio leg rollover feature in Backinzo, here are 3 pro tips to keep in mind for a smoother backtesting. First is use logical start date. If you set start day as 26 but it lands on Saturday, which is a non-working day, right? So in that case, Backinzo can't run the backtest. I'll quickly showcase it to you over a date calculator, wherein you can easily find it over Google. I have taken a snapshot image of it. So today I'm standing on 21st August 2025 and I want to subtract 26 days from today, right? Subtraction means backtesting. That's why I have chosen here as subtract 26 days. So today is Thursday to 21 August 2025. Subtracted 26 days, which comes out to be Saturday, which is 26th July 2025, which is non-working day. So in that case, Backinzo can't run the backtest. So always tick the setting. If a start day is a holiday, use previous working day, else no entry. You have to tick this box, okay? So that's about the pro tip 1. Now comes second, no overlapping portfolios are allowed. For example, you want to run your backtest right from 1st March 2024 to 30th April 2024. The start day is 28 and end day is 0. March expiry is 28th March 2024 and portfolio you want to run from 1st March to 28th March, right? So as you can see here, I have taken a snapshot image of a March 2024 wherein the 28th March is the Thursday expiry day. So March expiry is 28th March and portfolio runs from 1st March to 28th March. Now the start date becomes 28th March again, but that day is already used in the March portfolio, right? So Backinzo will skip the April portfolio. This is the April portfolio. April expiry is falling on 25th April, as you can see here, right? So it will just skip that particular month because no overlapping is allowed, okay? Now the third pro tip is if you use start day more than 24, always use 0p as parallel counts in the backtest settings. Here you can mention 0p if you are using a start day more than 24 days. Okay, if you mention here as let's say 26 or 28, then in that case always use parallel count as 0. Okay, so that's wrap up about the leg rollover feature on Backinzo. Keep these 3 pro tips in mind and let your strategies run seamlessly. Thanks for watching. See you in the next feature breakdown. This is Niyati signing off. Bye-bye.